This is a 2020 Acura RDX with the advanced package and super handling all-wheel drive, and today we're going to review it. Today we're working with our friends at White Bear Acura in beautiful White Bear, Minnesota.
Hi folks, this is Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and welcome to our how-to video on the Infotainment Center and the Driver's Information Center on the 2020 Acura RDX with the advanced package on it. So we're going to start with the Driver's Information Center. On the left, you have an analog RPM gauge. On the right, you have an analog speedometer with miles per hour on the outside and kilometers on the inside. And then the middle portion is your digital driver's information screen. So on the bottom, of course, you've got, or on the far left, you've got an engine temperature gauge. You've got, on the right, you've got a fuel gauge. Those are always there. And then on the bottom, you've got your odometer, you've got a compass, you've got your gear selector, your outdoor temperature, and then whatever mode that you happen to be in. Okay, so I'm going to use the rotating wheel that's on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. That rotates up and down. It also moves left to right. You'll notice there's some little dots right next to the fuel gauge that go down, and one of them is highlighted in white. So that is my trip computer. And so right there, I can, if I toggle, it says B, and if I toggle to the right, I get A. So you have trip A and trip B that you can set. Okay? And I can press the rotating button to reset things. All right, if I scroll down one, I get to navigation. Now, if I had a route plotted into the navigation system, my turn-by-turn directions would show up in this screen. So that's the second dot down. Okay, but I can't go left or right with it. So when it doesn't show you a little arrow on the left or right, that means that's all that there is on that particular screen. So I'll rotate down one more. And here you have your oil life. Okay, so you can set that every time you get your oil changed, so you know when the next time to change your oil is. Okay, then if I go down one more, you get your tire pressure. So it shows you all 4 tires, okay, which is really nice. This also does have a system on it where if a tire is low and you go to fill it, it'll set off a chime, and the chime changes in intensity and speed as you get closer and closer to the right amount. So you don't even need a tire gauge. All right, we'll go down one more. Oops, I skipped one. And there is your super handling all-wheel drive. So you can watch things happen, see where the traction is going on that, if you want to do that. And if I scroll down one more, oops, gotta go down one more. There we go. You also have a minimal screen. So that just shows you nothing. If you just want a kind of a blank screen, a little bit more calm, you can do that. Okay, rotating down one more, I've got sport gauges. And right now it says always on. It says push to change. So if I push that rotary knob that I have my fingers running, I can have always off, show in Sport Plus, or always on. Okay, and then I can go to the left to exit back to the setting I was at before. And then there's one more, and I come down here, and here you have your speed and distance units. So if I want to change that, I just push that rotary dial again, and I can have US standard or metric. Now, as far as the buttons on the steering wheel go, then on the right side, this is what I use to control the driver's information center. And then over here, this button right here, if I push it, it turns off my adaptive cruise control and my lane keeping assist system. Okay, you just simply push down to set it, up to resume for cruise control. And this does have adaptive cruise control, and it will go down to as low as about 25 miles per hour. Okay, over here, I have got my diagram for lane keeping assist, so I can see the lanes light up. And then I have my gap setter for the adaptive cruise control right here. And then, of course, I can cancel over here. Over on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you do have your heated steering wheel button right here, which I absolutely love having, and it's so nice that they put it right on the steering wheel. Over here, you've got a power button that shuts off your infotainment system. Not the navigation, but like the media part of it. And then you've got a volume control. You've got a voice command button here. And then these two buttons have to do with your HUD display. This brings up all the things you can do on your HUD display, and this is the back button for the HUD display. And then you can use this button to scroll through to change things, or you can move it left and right to change things. So, all right, so moving on to the infotainment system. Now, this is a 10.2-inch screen altogether, and it's divided into two portions. So this portion holds all your apps and everything, and then this side over here can do a couple of different things, and you can switch between, you can flip-flop the screens, and I'll show you that in a bit. Okay, so there are a couple of unique things about this particular system, and one of it is the sound system that's in this car. Now this one has the high-end system, which is the ELS Studio 3D Premium Audio System, which contains 16 speakers, 4 of which are in the ceiling, 1 by each passenger, and has 710 watts of power. And then on top of that was designed by Grammy-winning music producer Elliot Shiner, who has worked with all sorts of groups, including groups like the Eagles. So he has designed the sound system in this car, and it is astounding. I've had a chance to listen to a couple of things. It never comes across good on camera, so I'm not complaining, but step in, turn it on, and you'll see what I mean. Absolutely amazing. It also comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I know some Acura owners have been waiting for that to come. It's here. So it does have Android Auto on it. Of course, it's Bluetooth, and it does have a Wi-Fi hotspot and features over-the-air updates. So all you have to do is have your car running. First of all, you have the 3D navigation, and that is really nice. I had that set a little earlier coming over, and that was really, really, really nice. So, in order to control this, because this is not a touchscreen, Acura has what they call a true touchpad interface, and so that is down here. Okay, and this is how you control everything on that screen. Basically, you have a home button, you have a back button, you have the swap button between the two windows, and also you can use that to pop up your different choices of what you're going to view in the side window. This pad right here is divided separately from this pad, because you can also use this pad here to control the side window. So there's a couple of different ways to control the same things. All right, so let me hit the home button here. All right, so you've got all of your apps showing up here, and then you can see you've got another dot right after there. So if you actually take and swipe the screen, it goes over to the second dot. Okay, actually we went over to the left a little bit. So now you got the different things that are showing up on your HUD display, which shows you. And if I take my finger and I put it in the far right corner, you see that light up on the infotainment screen, and all I have to do now is just push that orange button, and it scrolls down. Okay, this will receive over-the-air updates. You don't need to be connected to any external Wi-Fi. All you have to do is have the car running. Okay, I'm going to swipe over again, and I have the rest of my apps here. So basically you have 3 screens on here. So let's go back to here. And now, the way Acura's designed this is that this is proportional to the screen. So if I take and I touch in the upper left corner, navigation shows up. If I touch in the upper right corner, Bluetooth shows up. If I go a little bit over, but I'm at the top of the screen, I get FM radio, and then I get phone. I can come down to Apple CarPlay. So it's pretty intuitive. Now, if that bothers you, you could also just swipe your hand across it. And whenever you get on what you want, you just click. Okay, so if I click navigation, and it then brings up the navigation screen. Okay, I'm just going to press home again. All right, so let's take a look down here at settings and see what's in there. All right, so what is really nice about this is Acura has included descriptions underneath each main title. So if I go up here, for instance, I get settings for the vehicle infotainment system. So if I click that, you have system volumes. Okay, so you can adjust the whole volumes. You can adjust the volume of your phone calls, the volume of voice recognition, and then if I go down to the arrow down there again and click, you also get navigation guidance. So they give you a lot of control over the different amounts of volume on the different devices and things that are talking to you in your car. Okay, and I hit the back button a minute. You can change the touchpad sensitivity. Right now it's set to low. If I click on that, then I can have low or I can have high. I like it where it is. It seems to be perfect for me, so I'm going to leave it. Okay, if I come down to date and time. Now this is where you can set your clock. So if I go here, I can do the time format, 12 or 24 hour, and I just simply click on it to make the change. Okay, I can set the date and time, or I can set the time zone. So if I take this, and then it got an automatic time zone that's already on, so that's the nicest feature, and then you don't have to change it everywhere you go. Okay, let's go back again. And let's see, system units here, you can change between miles or kilometers. Hit the back button. Now I'm going to go back over to that down arrow. Okay, I've got language, I got factory data reset, I've got the about, then I have something called advanced options. So let's click on that and see what's there. All right, so you have location access, which you can turn on or off. Okay, and what's really cool is it has something called interruptions. So if I click on that, I can click up here and say I don't want to be interrupted at all. Okay, or I want to be interrupted, and then I just hit the back button there. I can go down to here, scroll down for a minute, and go calls and messages from, and then I can change it from anyone to contacts only to starred contacts only. So if there's certain people you really don't want to be bothered by when you're driving, you can just star the ones that you really want to hear from, and those are the only ones that the system will put through. So that is a really neat feature. All right, so let's go back up here a little bit more. You can also have events and reminders and messages as well. And you can turn those features off if you want. Like you don't want any messages coming through, just turn them off. All right, so I'll go back 2 times here. Okay, and then let's go down here a minute. I think that's the end of, yep, that's the end of our list. So I'm gonna go back again. Now that was under system. Under connections is where you can manage Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, that kind of stuff. Okay, here's your Android Auto and your Apple CarPlay right here. A Wi-Fi network. Okay, it does have a Wi-Fi hotspot if you want to enable it. Okay, let's go back again. And we'll go under display. Here's where you can set the brightness of the screen. So if I go here, you've got night mode, you've got day mode, and then if I click on or display off, you can physically change the brightness of the screen right here with the plus and minus. And then down here, you've got more settings. So then here you can adjust the black level and the contrast. So quite a few controls there for that. If I go down to vehicle, then I've got driver position set up, which if I click on, you can set the seat position movement at entry or exit. Okay, on or off. That's so like the seat automatically, goes backwards when you get out, and when you sit in and close the door and start it up, it moves forward. And then you have your memory position link, turns the driving position memory system on or off. Okay. And you can go to meter setup here, and then over here you can adjust, I love this, you can adjust the outside temperature display. Now we've seen this on one other vehicle. So if you live in Minnesota and you don't like the temperature because it's too cold, you can go in here and you can say, well, let's see, I want to make it 5 degrees warmer than it really is. So right now it says 8 degrees out, but if I click on this one, all of a sudden it's 13 degrees outside. So there you go. They give you some comfort. Now I will be nice and I will reset that one to where it should be. So we'll put plus or minus 0. And so we can display the 2-1. Here you can reset trip A and reset trip B timing. So if I click on that, okay, it'll automatically reset it after a refuel, after you turn the ignition off, or a manually reset. Now, most everyone will probably want a manual reset, but that's an interesting feature. I've not seen that before. Okay, so you also can adjust your reversed shift position beep, and that basically is just an on or off. Okay, and if I go down here to this arrow, and I can, the auto idle stop display, you can turn it on or off. Okay, and that's where this button comes in. This is your auto idle off, so auto start stop is what we normally call it. Okay. And if we come down here, you can adjust the alarm volumes of things from high to mid to low. Okay. And then your turn-by-turn display, you can turn that on or off. So you can have just the navigation screen running without your turn-by-turn. Why you'd want that, I don't know, but because it's really nice to have, especially with the HUD display. It's amazing. All right, so that's the bottom of that list. So we'll go back. You can do a power tailgate setup right here. So you've got a keyless open mode. You can open by outer handle. You can do a hands-free access power tailgate. We'll go back again. You got your keyless access setup. You can change like your door unlock mode. All doors are just a driver door. You can have the lights flash. You can do an access beep sound. This is a neat feature, auto walk away auto lock. And right now it's disabled, but if I have the key fob on me and I stop the car, get out and take the key fob with me, after I get so far away from the car, it will automatically lock all the doors. All right, and so that is what's under there. And let's go down here, and we're gonna have to scroll down a little bit more. Now, driver assist. Now remember, we're under vehicle from the apps. Main screen. So here we go to driver assist. Now this is where you have a lot of your safety systems. So we have a forward collision warning distance, and if you click on there, you can adjust it between long, normal, and short. Hit the back button. Your adaptive cruise control forward detect beep. Okay, so you can have that on or off. Road departure mitigation setting. Okay, you can have it normal, wide, or warning only. Okay, you've got your lane keeping assist, so you can turn that on or off. We'll go back here, and let's go down a little bit more and see some of the more systems here. We've got blind spot information. So we go here, and you can have an audible and visual alert, just a visual alert, or turn it off. So lots of different safety systems on this car, and that's where you can access and control most of them, except for the physical buttons I showed earlier. Okay, so let's go back to vehicle here. I went a little bit too far, I think. Okay, yep. So door setup here, you can go in here and you can set how the car locks, which one, which doors lock and unlock with the driver's door and that kind of stuff. Okay, we'll go back. You can do a lighting setup. Okay, so interior light dimming time, headlight auto off timer, auto interior illumination sensitivity, auto headlight on with wiper on, and if we scroll down, you've got auto light sensitivity. So lots of ways to adjust your lighting. Maintenance information is the last one in this category, and of course here we have engine oil, and if I click on there, I can, my choice is to reset it. All right, let's go back. All right, so that was all under vehicle right there. So now I'm gonna go over, oops, I pressed the wrong button. So I'm going back to my home screen in a minute. All right, we're under settings. All right, what I want to do is go down here. All right, camera, settings for vehicle cameras. Okay, I can have the surround view camera here, and I can adjust it by having guidelines show. Okay, they're dynamic or fixed. Okay, I can decide if I want them both off, I want just fixed, just dynamic, or both. Okay, cross traffic monitor. That you can turn on or off right there. And show after shifting from reverse. So what that basically does is allows the camera, if you turn it on, the camera actually stays on for just a little bit after you put it in drive and start pulling away, and then it shuts it off at a certain speed, probably about 15 miles an hour. All right, let's go back a couple here. Sound. Okay, so this is where, under settings and under sound, this is where you get to your, this is where you get to things like, go back here, your bass and treble, how to adjust those. Okay, you have audio zones, okay, the roof and center balance. Since you have 4 speakers in the ceiling here, you can adjust those. And audio zones and balance, of course, that's typical setup here. You can have a driver only, front only, rear only, which are nice options. Okay, we'll go back again. We'll get you, this does have speed volume compensation, which is nice, and then you can adjust you know, how sensitive it is. Okay, well, let's go back here. All right, so in addition to that, of course, you've got your FM radio, you've got Bluetooth audio, you've got Sirius XM, and then under system updates, I did mention this can get over-the-air updates. So you can set that up here, okay? Or you can actually download and put it on through a USB. Okay, let's see. Let's swipe over one here. Went the wrong direction. Okay, this one has messages from your phone. You can select the USB audio input, the auxiliary input, the AM radio, the AT&T hotspot, or Acura Link. Now, on the side window, if I press this key right here, little button, I can get now playing, navigation, or clock. Those are my 3 choices. So I can see navigation in here, I can see the clock in here, or I can just see what's playing. If I decide I want navigation in my right window, I can just hit this button. Okay, I can get navigation over there, and then I can go to home, and then I can select like XM radio, and then that will show up over here. Okay, and then as I go through here, you know, as I'm actually just tracking my finger over the trackpad. But if you get used to it over time, you can just remember where those are and just touch there, and it will automatically come on, which is kind of neat. So you can change your channel, you can change your category. Now, in all the media stuff, there is a menu button at the top right. So if I click that, you get another place to access changing your sound settings. You can view scheduled programs for each channel, and then you can adjust Sirius XM settings. They'll look a little different if you're, for instance, if you're on FM radio. You're still going to have that same menu button at the top, but you get slightly different settings. You're always going to get the sound settings, but then now like this has HD radio settings. So just remember that little menu button is up at the top, and you can look at that. You can also look at station list, tune, okay, scan forward, that kind of stuff. And here's all of your presets. Okay, and all you got to do a preset, I'll show you this again, but it's really easy. Let's just say I want to change this one here to 97.1. So then I can go up here and I can say replace with 97.1, add to home page, add to heads up display, or remove favorite. So you got several options. And then if I just say replace with 97.1, that's the way you set your presets. Okay, you're gonna hit the home button again. All right, the other thing that I want to show you is the backup camera. So if I put it in reverse, you get a couple of different options here. So right now I am in got the back camera on. I've got fixed, and I've got the dynamic guidelines in there, and I can then go over here and change the view. So now I got my 360, and I'm using that true touchpad down here to do that. I can go over here and change the day-night mode. Okay. Or, oops, let's bring this back to being a little brighter there, a little easier to see. So you got two different views you can go by. Now, in addition to that, and we put in park again, you've got a camera button right here on your windshield wiper stock. And if I turn that one on, okay, this is going to give you several views in the front. So if you're pulling out of a parking lot, you're pulling into a parking stall, and there's a car in front of you, okay, you've got the side-by-side view, so that's, you know, left and right. You can hit it again, and you're going to get a 360 plus a wide front view. Okay? So just, I mean, it's just really neat. All the different things that you can see. That's the one we're on right now, I think. Yep. Nope, that's the extra wide view right there. Extra wide view for when you're pulling up. But that's from the front camera. And then you get your side view, and then you get this wide view here. So you can turn that on at any time. It cancels after about 15 miles an hour. So as long as you're driving slow in a parking lot, you can have that on, which is just a really cool feature. Okay. Now, moving on down, you do have a few physical controls. You have a forward and a back button, so like skipping the radio stations, that kind of stuff, and audio volume right here, as well as a power button. You have your hazard buttons. This is a dual zone auto climate control, and it has all the typical physical buttons that you'd expect here, but there are two unique things about this system. One is that it has a solar sensor that senses the intensity of the sun and its impact on the interior of the car, and then can further adjust the auto climate so that it stays at the temperature you want. Now, in addition to that, it also uses the GPS signal from the navigation to determine the sun's location relative to where your car is. So if it's a hot day and the sun is shining in from the right, it'll automatically sense that and know that it has to make that side a little bit cooler to keep the whole car at an even temperature. So Acura's really gone a long ways to make sure that its customers are comfortable in their cars with their climate control. And that's just really cool. Okay, other than that, you have, of course, the auto button is here, and then your physical sync button, which I love, is right there. And this is where you adjust the temperature. Down here, you have 3-stage heated seats. You have 3-stage ventilated seats. And then if you use the auto feature, it will heat or cool your seat according to the ambient temperature around the seat. And both sides have the same feature. All right, coming on down here, we have the dynamic mode selector. So if I get out of the camera mode here in a minute, I'm going to press the home button. Okay, you have snow. I love the graphics there. You've got comfort, you've got sport, and then you've got sport plus. Yeah. And it will show up on your dashboard at the bottom, as well as telling you what you have. Now, it is a push button transmission. So you have park, neutral, and then drive. You press it a second time, it puts you into sport. And then you have the reverse button right here, which is a pull.